You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, March 31st show. It's a great day to talk money, and that's what you'll hear from the show today, how to make money, save money, and build a better quality of life for yourself and your family. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or go online at themoneyhour.com. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Tony Sablan with New York Life Wealth Management, strategies to building a better retirement in this market. Tony, thank you so much for coming back in studio. It's always great to have you to talk about the financial arena.
Thank you, Tina. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And a little bit about Tony. Tony Sablan is an advisor with New York Life. His mission is to develop enduring relationships with his clients by providing guidance on their life insurance questions, retirement strategies, comprehensive financial planning, and estate planning, focusing on you, your family, and your business to identify your life goals and motivations. Tony has a diverse and vast team of specialists that partner with him to help you meet your goals. In his free time, he helps coach professional mixed martial arts athletes and has trained alongside UFC championships, ONE FC champions. Leveraging his coaching skills, Tony helps design a financial plan that gets better prepares you for whatever the market decides to bring to you. And I love that, Tony, how your personal passion comes into your business passion in what you do through coaching. So it's great. So we're talking today, Tony, about strategies for building a better retirement in this market. Why should you start thinking about a better strategy plan for retirement? What do you see with your clients or people coming into you?
So what I'm seeing these days is that, well, number one, retirement isn't what it used to be. And generations ago, you could rely on a company for your retirement. You could rely on Social Security. These days, you put in your service, you get a healthy pension, and you lived a comfortable life. That was the past, right? So with today's market, you have to deal with retirement risks, longevity risks, market volatility, and other related macroeconomic risks, and unplanned spending that could derail your budget. But longevity may be the most significant factor in retirement planning and the hardest to gauge. So with the steady increase in life expectancy, you may be living in retirement much longer than you anticipated. With recent mortality tables, a healthy female who's 65 years old can expect to live well into her 80s, and for males, well into their 80s as well. Mm-hmm. And then another risk is tax management, and that's why you really need to take a step back, take a look at your current retirement plan, and just really see what else is out there that could get you to the finish line.
Yeah, and a longer life is good or bad news, depending if you have money to last through that longer life, right, Tony?
Yep.
So let's talk about the responsibility of retirement. So where does that responsibility lie?
So in the past, as I said before, people relied on their pensions and Social Security benefits funded by corporations and governments. The cash flow they took from personal savings was just a small piece of the pie, and since these programs and pensions were reliable, guaranteed, and sufficient in most cases. Today, however, Social Security provides a smaller percentage of the income needed in retirement, and sometimes without the benefit of cost of living increases. And pensions are just no longer there. Mm-hmm. A lot of big companies have bought off their pension liabilities and gave control of people's retirement back to the people.
Yeah.
But all that really did was offload the risk from corporations and gave everybody an opportunity to grow their money by themselves, which some people will do well and some people won't, right? So the idea is to design a plan utilizing pension-like tools and also just being really a prudent investor.
Yeah, and I always tell my clients regarding finances and why it's so important to talk with your financial advisor is, and I've said on the show before, would you take a job there's no increase in salary or potential to keep up with the changes in the cost of living? And of course not. So why would you not make sure that you have that set in for your financial plan as well? So Tony, what factors should you keep in mind when planning for retirement?
So, interesting that you speak about pay increases because inflation is inevitable.
Yes.
And people in the job force usually keep up with inflation through pay increase. But after retirement, few people can increase their income enough to keep pace with the cost of living without taking unnecessary risk. So although the idea is simple, many people don't recognize the enormous increase in wealth that can result from beginning to save early. And to demonstrate the power of time, let's look at two different people. You have Susan and a person named Ken, right? Susan starts early, saving $1,000 per year in a traditional IRA. At age 30, she continues her payments for 10 years through age 40, earning an average of 6% per year on her investment. At age 40, she decides to stop contributions, right? And that leaves her with $10,000 in her account, and she'll have that grow till age 65. Whereas Ken, who starts in his late 30s, right, he begins saving $1,000 a year up until age 45 with the same 6% annual return.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, because she started early, will have more in Ken's account just by the simple nature of compound interest.
Yeah, you know how much I talk about compound. I mean, it's so true. And when you get started. So what I'm hearing you say, Tony, that, don't procrastinate, but start accumulating and do it as soon as you can right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at least start develop the habit of saving, whether
Yes.
that's $100 a month or 500 or whatever that number is. The idea is to start early so you can build that saving muscle.
Yeah. And we need to do a show all on really helping your kids with financial responsibility as well. But, a great thing if you're listening and you have children, whenever there's something that is getting purchased at a grocery store or something that is not needed, always have them contribute a little bit towards that, whether it's 5 cents or 10 cents, so that they're getting the idea of spending money and saving as well, so yeah. Tony, hypothetically, how fast can an investment grow? That's a tough question.
Well, well, there are no guarantees, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing called the rule of 72. And what it does is it calculates how long it will take for your money to double. So if you're expecting a 10% return on your money, and you divide that by 72, your money will double in 7.2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll give you a general idea of how fast your money will grow. And at least doubling gives you a barometer of, what that could look like in the future.
So, Tony, how does tax affect growth in your portfolio?
Well, if you earn a 6% pre-tax return and you are in the 33% tax bracket, you can figure about a 4% post-tax return. So instead of your money doubling in 12 years using the rule of 72, it really will take 18 years for your money to double if you pay taxes on your earnings each year. So in short, taxes cost an extra six years of growth in this particular example. And as always, consult your tax professional and work with a financial advisor to design a cohesive retirement strategy for you to take into account tax effect.
Yeah, and so really looking at all the numbers and where they're truly going to end up is going to be critically important to make sure that you don't understate or underestimate what you're going to need in your retirement. So, Tony, what do you see as the main risks in type of retirement planning right now today?
So the main risks I see, aside from longevity, inflation, taxes, is folks not having guarantees in their portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And also the idea of, spending first instead of saving. We're seeing a lot of 401ks that are just not funded up to the level where a retiree would like to have a desire to draw income from,
mm-hmm.
right? So having assets that are uncorrelated is another risk that I see, because, with the 401 pray, as I call it, you pray that your 401k is where you want it to be when you retire.
Yeah.
Right. And, those that are retiring this year are having a good have a nice growth in their retirement account.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that 2-3 years from now, retirees will have the same market. So design a portfolio that could weather a storm is important.
Yes. So, Tony, what financial planning vehicles should you consider in planning for your retirement?
So individuals need to think about the bigger picture and expand their use of investment vehicles that, again, like I mentioned earlier, that are uncorrelated to each other or the market, and also consider placing guarantees within portfolio. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance, income protection, annuities, real estate. No one investment will give you the home run in retirement.
Yeah.
So having some combination of all the vehicles available to you will give you the best position to retire. And, being a mixed martial arts coach, I have a wide variety of tools to end a fight, if you will, or to withstand a fight. So why wouldn't you have that same set of tools in your portfolio so that whatever the market gives you, you can focus more on earning more, enjoying life, and less watching Bloomberg or all the financial drama that's unfolding.
Makes sense. So anything else that you should consider when planning for retirement, Tony?
Really just having a goal in mind. What I see a lot is folks just investing a certain percentage into their 401k because either their neighbor, their friend, or the company automatically does it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think having an end game and thinking and working backwards. So if you want a certain amount of income in retirement, work that number backwards, because you either might be underfunding your retirement or overfunding your retirement. And if you're overfunding your retirement, then guess what? You have more money to spend today, and you won't need to contribute as much to your current plan.
Yeah, and with all the technology and software tools that you have, access to really be able to analyze what that's going to look like, makes it really, really easy. So, Tony, as we wrap up my time here with you, I know that I've got the privilege to be a first glance at the chapter of your book coming out, and offline we've talked. It's going to be an amazing book. So, I'd love you just to share with my listeners and what's upcoming with your book.
So I got a few more chapters written and rewritten, and I'm really excited to share the book because, as I think about it, it just dawned on me recently where, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a mixed martial arts coach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm the MMA finance guy. I'm going to design a plan for you because the fight's just different these days.
Yeah.
Right? So you have bonds in a high interest rate environment, probably not so good for your portfolio,
mm-hmm.
right? And you have the market, which is hot right now. What are you doing to protect all that growth that you've already accumulated? And, a lot of financial products get ragged on, but if you look at the best and brightest in the industry, such as Tony Robbins, Ray Dalio, and they talk about income protection, protecting all that growth and having money in the sidelines to be able to take advantage of different market opportunities. And, given this market here in Seattle with real estate, it's just amazing what people will go through
mm-hmm.
to get a piece of property.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's better ways to fund real estate.
Yeah, great advice.
And not get too crazy.
Yeah. So just kind of a call to action or a shout out on things, keep your eyes wide open to understand what your financial picture looks like. Make sure that you're including in your plan some type of protection on some of your investments. And we all know not procrastinating, and that goes into everything in life, which seems to be the biggest mistakes, and diversify. So, Tony, thank you so much for being here and being a representation of the show in the financial arena. I appreciate your wealth of information and your friendship as well.
Thank you.
Coming up next on the Money Hour, real estate continues to, with the lack of inventory, a true seller's market in the biggest way. Rosemary West with Avenue Properties right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.